Let's talk a little bit about the special master that has been appointed by Judge Aileen Cannon to oversee the documents seized at Donald Trump's house. There's really no way to put it lightly. Bess Levin has a very good article in Vanity Fair called "Trump's Special Master Situation is Shady as F, according to legal experts." Now, I encourage you to check out the entire article because it will go into a lot more detail than I will go into today. But as many of you who have emailed me have suspected, the legal reasoning for the special master being granted is extraordinarily shaky. And as many legal experts have weighed in, it will really do nothing other than slightly delay the process of this criminal investigation into Donald Trump. Now, that shouldn't be dismissed as nothing. Donald Trump's strategy for many years legally has been delay. Any opportunity you have to delay is good. And most lawyers will agree that, at least as far as the clients they represent, right? If you ask them about some case they're not involved in, most of them will say, the delay tactics don't typically help over the long term. But there are lawyers who will say, well, listen, what I know is if I can delay, I give myself an opportunity to mount a better defense, allow people to quit, retire, get bored, get frustrated, whatever. So delay is usually considered something that lawyers like to do and that they can bill for, by the way. So Bess Levin reports Judge Aileen Cannon granted this request from Donald Trump's legal team for a special master. A special master reviews the documents, holds and reviews the documents. In this case, it's 11,000 government documents that were seized from Mar-a-Lago on August 8th. And the reason that this is advantageous to Trump, at least in theory, is that while the documents are under the review of the special master, prosecutors can't continue using those documents and examining the documents for their criminal investigation. The review has to happen first. Trump's claim is that some of the materials are covered by executive privilege. Some of the materials are medical documents, etc. Legal experts, by and large, believe that the ruling is absurd for a couple of different reasons. First, let's start with Samuel Buell, who's a Duke University law professor. He spoke to the New York Times and said, quote, "To any lawyer with serious federal criminal court experience who is being honest, this ruling is laughably bad, and the written justification is even flimsier. Donald Trump is getting something no one else ever gets in federal court. He's getting it for no good reason, and it will not in the slightest reduce the ongoing howls that he is being persecuted when he is being privileged." That's a really important point. Trump's story is, I am being treated uniquely terribly by the justice system. The reality is he's being treated uniquely well. The fact that the Justice Department and FBI waited so long to do the search warrant after they requested the documents from Trump under subpoena and they weren't turned over. That is a privilege that was granted to Donald Trump. The fact that the special master has been appointed is a privilege for Donald Trump. Constitutional law professor Lawrence Tribe wrote about Judge Aileen Cannon's decision. Her decision was utterly lawless. She has disgraced her position as an Article 3 judge. And then former U.S. acting Solicitor General Neil Katyal wrote on Twitter, "This special master opinion is so bad, it's hard to know where to begin. She says Biden hasn't weighed in on whether documents are protected by executive privilege. Nonsense. The archives letter makes it clear the current president thinks none of this is privileged. The archivist says it is not a close question. 2, the judge enjoins the entire investigation because some of the material might be subject to executive privilege. But executive privilege isn't some post-presidential privilege that allows presidents to keep documents after they leave office. At most, it simply means these are executive documents that must be returned to the archives. It doesn't in any way, shape, or form mean they can't be used in a criminal prosecution about stolen documents." And lastly, this is an important point, Judge Cannon said that the reputational harm to Trump from the documents justifies a special master. And Katyal says that's insane. Every criminal defendant has reputational harm. Are we now going to have special masters in every criminal investigation? And that's a really important point. One of the big statements made by Judge Aileen Cannon is the reputational harm that Trump would suffer or might suffer from these documents being given to the FBI, potentially made public, etc., justifies a special master getting all the documents and reviewing them. Arguably, anytime you are raided and potentially indicted by the federal government, you're going to suffer reputationally, even if the charges are ultimately dropped. This is one of the things that is sort of I don't know what to call it, a calling card. It's a feature or a bug, whatever, of our justice system, which is sometimes people are arrested and charged, and then they are found not guilty or charges are dismissed. And there is still the risk of, and sometimes there really is, reputational harm. If you're accused of murder and charged with murder, and then there's a lengthy trial and you're acquitted, it's not like everything goes back to zero because you were found not guilty. And you can argue that that's a problem with our justice system. It's a problem, arguably, with many justice systems, which is you can be charged and there can be a trial and then you're acquitted. But the fact that you were charged still hurts you in some way reputationally. It's not unique to Donald Trump. And the idea, as Neil Katyal points out, arguably, anytime this happens to any defendant, there's reputational harm. You're not going to grant a special master in all cases is another one of the signs that Donald Trump isn't being persecuted unfairly. He's actually being privileged. He is being deferred to and given things that so many other defendants are not.